He wants to betray Ibrahim Traoré for 5 million, and what the president does will shock you. The early morning sun cast long shadows across the dirt roads of rural Burkina Faso as President Ibrahim Traoré's convoy moved quietly through the landscape. Instead of the usual official motorcade, today they traveled in unmarked vehicles. This was meant to be a discreet visit to launch a social project in one of the country's most neglected regions. Seated in the lead vehicle, Youssouf maintained his vigilant watch. As Traoré's head of security for 3 years, the former Special Forces soldier had earned his reputation through unwavering loyalty and exceptional instincts. The president trusted him completely, which is why Youssouf was among the few who knew about today's journey. "We're approaching the village," Youssouf informed Traoré, who nodded silently. The young president looked out at the parched landscape, his expression thoughtful. "These people have been forgotten for too long," Traoré said finally. "This water project will change everything for them." They reached the small settlement by mid-afternoon. While Traoré met with local leaders, Youssouf coordinated security, positioning his men strategically around the perimeter. Everything seemed normal until his phone vibrated with a message from an unknown number. Curious, he opened it. The blood drained from his face as he read, 5 million USD. That's what we'll pay for Traoré's exact location. Simple job, life-changing money. Youssouf deleted the message immediately, disgusted. But 2 minutes later, another message arrived with an attached photo. His heart nearly stopped. It showed his sister Aisha, clearly terrified, bound to a chair in an unknown location. "You have 24 hours. Traoré's location or your sister dies. No police, no military, we're watching you." Throughout the evening, Youssouf struggled to maintain his composure. As the security team prepared for the night, he found himself staring at the president, whom he had sworn to protect with his life. Traoré was speaking animatedly with village elders about their needs, completely unaware of the storm brewing within his most trusted guard. Later, in the makeshift command center, Youssouf received another message. "Tick-tock, your sister is asking for you." That night, while everyone slept, Youssouf stood outside Traoré's quarters, his mind racing. The wind carried distant sounds of nocturnal wildlife as he whispered into the darkness. "Would you forgive me if you knew?" He looked up at the stars, remembering his oath to his country, to his president. Then he thought of Aisha, who had raised him after their parents died. His phone buzzed again. Last chance. Decide now or you'll never see your sister again. Dawn was approaching, and with it, a decision that would change everything. Youssouf stared at the phone in his hand, weighing his sister's life against his honor, his duty, and the future of his country. The president had trusted him without question, yet now he contemplated the unthinkable. $5 million would set his family for life, but at what cost to his soul? As morning broke over the rural compound, Youssouf had not slept. His hands trembled slightly as he checked his weapon, an uncharacteristic sign of stress for the typically stoic security chief. With the village stirring to life around them, he seized a private moment to send an encrypted message to Musa, a former army comrade now working in military intelligence. "Need urgent help. Family emergency. Hostile actors. Cannot involve official channels." While waiting for a response, Youssouf maintained his security routine, though his mind was elsewhere. President Traoré was scheduled to visit 3 more villages that day, making them increasingly vulnerable as they moved through the countryside. The second village was even more remote, a perfect target. By midday, Musa replied, "Identified threat, international mercenary cell, money traces to European accounts with African middlemen. They're serious." Youssouf's worst fears were confirmed. These weren't amateur kidnappers, but professional killers with resources. As the presidential party rested during the afternoon heat, a security alert came through. Unidentified drones had been spotted in the region. The entire team went on high alert. Later, as Traoré and Youssouf walked together inspecting a proposed school site, the president spoke in a tone that sent chills down Youssouf's spine. "You know, even among the most loyal, life presents tests," Traoré said, his eyes fixed ahead. "I hope you pass yours, whatever it may be." Did he know? Had Yusuf's behavior betrayed him? The security chief maintained his composure, but internally, his resolve was crumbling. That evening, Yusuf formulated a dangerous plan. He would send false coordinates to the kidnappers, a location where Traoré would never be, while secretly alerting Colonel Diallo, a trusted military commander in Niayes, the region, about a possible ambush. It was risky, potentially sacrificing his own life, but it might save both Traoré and Aisha. Tomorrow at 14, the president will visit the abandoned factory outside Bobo Dioulasso. He messaged the unknown number, providing coordinates to a location 20 kilometers from where they would actually be. Almost immediately, he received a video of Aisha. "Brother, please help me," she sobbed. "They say they'll kill me tomorrow." Hidden behind a storage shed, away from the watchful eyes of his team, Yusuf finally broke. Tears streamed down his face as he punched the mud wall repeatedly, splitting his knuckles. The impossible choice was tearing him apart: betray his country and save his sister, or maintain his honor while sentencing her to death. In the distance, he could see Traoré laughing with village children, unaware that his most trusted protector was contemplating the unthinkable. The president's genuine compassion for his people only intensified Yusuf's shame. How could he even consider betraying such a man? Yet how could he abandon the sister who had sacrificed everything to raise him after their parents' death? His phone buzzed once more. "We're waiting for your confirmation. The money is ready." Yusuf closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and made his decision. Dawn arrived with a sense of foreboding. Yusuf, who had spent the night finalizing his countermeasure, moved with calculated precision. He had covertly contacted Colonel Diallo, revealing only what was necessary. Mercenary team targeting high-value personnel at these coordinates. Require silent intervention. No communications. Possible hostage situation connected. The morning unfolded according to the official schedule, but with one critical modification unknown to the mercenaries. Instead of heading toward the coordinates Yusuf had provided, President Traoré was quietly relocated to a secure military installation under the pretext of an urgent video conference with regional leaders. "The president needs to take this call in private," Yusuf informed the security team, providing the cover story while specially selected soldiers escorted Traoré to safety. Meanwhile, at the abandoned factory, Colonel Diallo's elite unit positioned themselves invisibly among the ruins. By 13:30, surveillance detected 6 armed individuals approaching in 2 unmarked vehicles. The mercenaries moved with the confidence of professionals, setting up tactical positions around the perimeter, clearly expecting their inside man to deliver the president directly into their trap. At precisely 14 noes, as the ambush team readied their weapons, Diallo's forces struck. The operation was swift and surgical. Within 3 minutes, 5 mercenaries were captured and 1 was critically wounded while attempting to detonate an explosive device. In the chaos, a young soldier named Caboret froze when a captured mercenary reached for a concealed weapon. Yusuf, who had arrived just as the operation concluded, threw himself forward, taking a bullet in the shoulder that was meant for the young man. As medics rushed to attend to him, one of the captured mercenaries locked eyes with Yusuf and spoke in accented French. "This changes nothing. Others will come. He threatens too many powerful interests." Days later, in a military hospital in Ouagadougou, Yusuf awoke to find President Traoré sitting silently beside his bed. For several minutes, neither man spoke. Then Traoré reached out and gripped Yusuf's hand firmly. "You faced the worst enemy a man can face," the president said quietly. "Not mercenaries or bullets, but fear itself. Fear for those you love." Yusuf's eyes widened. "You knew?" Traoré nodded slowly. "Not everything, but enough." "My sister?" Yusuf asked, his voice breaking. "Safe. Special forces found her being held in Mali. She's recovering in a secure location." Tears of relief streamed down Yusuf's face. He turned away, ashamed. "Sir, I must resign. I compromised everything I stand for." "Request denied," Traoré said firmly. "You're more necessary now than ever before." Outside the hospital window, rain began to fall, the first of the season. Yusuf watched the droplets racing down the glass, each one carrying away a small piece of the burden he had carried. The military intelligence unit worked day and night analyzing data retrieved from the captured mercenaries' devices. What they uncovered was far larger than a simple assassination attempt. It was an elaborate international plot to destabilize Burkina Faso's government and reverse Traoré's growing influence in the region. The phones contained communications with high-ranking officials in neighboring countries, European businessmen with mining interests, and even a few prominent Burkinabe politicians. Many of these figures had publicly denounced Traoré's nationalist policies and his moves to renegotiate foreign resource contracts. While still recovering from his wound, Yusuf watched from his hospital room as President Traoré called an unprecedented press conference. Breaking with traditional diplomatic protocols, the young leader laid out the evidence of the conspiracy with remarkable transparency. Some say that revealing such plots only creates instability, Traoré told the assembled journalists, his voice steady. I believe our people deserve the truth no matter how uncomfortable. A foreign correspondent raised her hand. Mr. President, your head of security nearly betrayed you, yet you still trust him. Why? Traoré paused, considering his words carefully. True loyalty isn't the absence of doubt or fear. It's resisting temptation even when the price seems unbearable. Yusuf faced an impossible choice between country and family, and found a way to honor both. The story spread like wildfire across West Africa. Social media exploded with messages of support for both Traoré and Yusuf. An international documentary filmmaker announced a project titled The Man Who Refused $5 Million to Save His Soul. Yusuf himself refused all interview requests, uncomfortable with the attention. Instead, he focused on mentoring young security personnel, teaching them from his bitter experience. Your loyalty will be tested, he told them, not with grand gestures but in small moments when no one is watching. Meanwhile, one of Traoré's political rivals, General Bonkungu, saw an opportunity to undermine the president by attacking Yusuf's reputation. A man who even considers betrayal cannot be trusted, he declared on national radio. What the general didn't realize was that Yusuf had meticulously documented every compromising communication he'd received over the years from various political figures, including Bonkungu himself, attempting to extract sensitive information about the president. When these records mysteriously appeared in journalists' inboxes, the general's credibility collapsed overnight. In this country, Traoré remarked when asked about the scandal, we are learning that accountability applies to everyone, regardless of rank. The captured mercenaries eventually revealed the full extent of the operation, a coordinated effort by foreign interests to eliminate Traoré and install a more cooperative regime. The revelations strengthened Traoré's position and galvanized public support for his nationalist policies. 6 months later, as the rainy season transformed Burkina Faso's landscapes from dusty browns to vibrant greens, Aisha Ouedraogo inaugurated the New Beginning Center, a rehabilitation facility for survivors of kidnapping and trafficking. Standing beside her was her brother Yusuf, now fully recovered but bearing a new seriousness in his eyes. My experience showed me that victims need more than rescue, Aisha told the gathered crowd. They need support to rebuild their lives and their trust. The center was just one visible sign of how the attempted assassination had transformed the country. Yusuf had established a training academy focused on ethical security practices for young West Africans, teaching not just tactical skills, but moral resilience. Security isn't just about protection from physical threats, he explained to his first class of recruits. It's about protecting our values even when facing impossible choices. At an African Union summit later that year, President Traoré surprised everyone by calling Yusuf to the podium during his address. The security chief reluctantly stepped forward, uncomfortable with the public recognition. This man, Traoré said, gesturing to his protector, represents what Africa needs most. Individuals who stand firm when offered wealth for betrayal, who find creative solutions to impossible problems, and who serve something greater than themselves, the OA. Assembly rose in a standing ovation as Yusuf stood awkwardly, eyes glistening with unshed tears. Back home, people gathered around televisions in cafes and markets, cheering for the man many now called the Incorruptible. Letters and messages arrived from across the continent. "You showed my children what real courage looks like," wrote a teacher from Ghana. "Your story helped me refuse a bribe at my job," shared a civil servant from Senegal. During a visit to a rural school, a young boy approached Yusuf with a handmade card. "I want to be like you when I grow up," it read in careful handwriting. That evening, at a small ceremony at a military academy, a simple bronze plaque was unveiled bearing the inscription, "Loyalty cannot be purchased." As years passed, Yusuf gradually stepped back from public life. Now gray-haired, he could often be found walking the streets of Ouagadougou, helping strangers with small acts of kindness, most never realizing the role he had played in their nation's history. In the final scene of the documentary that eventually chronicled these events, an aging Yusuf is shown speaking with a young soldier, clearly troubled by some moral dilemma. "Sir, how do you choose when both choices seem wrong?" the young man asks. Yusuf places a weathered hand on the soldier's shoulder. "Remember this. You always have a choice. Sometimes the right path seems hidden, but it exists. Look deeper, think beyond the obvious, and know that your integrity, once sold, can never be truly bought back."